Hello, I'm Roslyn Nieves. Welcome to Queen's Perspectives. Black History Month is a time for honoring the triumphs and struggles of African Americans throughout the United States that put their stamp on history, like the legendary Keith David. He is a classically trained actor and producer that has over 300 credits to his name, winning 3 Emmys out of 6 nominations, as well as being nominated for a Tony Award. You may have seen him in the TV series Greenleaf for Oprah Winfrey's own network, or the Halo series, Platoon, The Thing, Dead Presidents, Crash, There's Something About Mary, Barbershop, and The Princess and the Frog. I would like to welcome Keith David. Keith, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Keith, the last time I saw you, it was at your Let There Be Love concert. The show aired in February, then COVID hit the world in March. How did the pandemic affect you and your upcoming projects?
Well, the pandemic has affected me like it's affected everyone else. I mean, the shutdown has been, worldwide, certainly nationwide. And so a lot of things have been on hold. I have managed to, I've done 3 movies since last March. I finished the movie that I was working on. March 12th, I was sent home. I went back in August to complete that movie. They were one of the first to open back up with very strict COVID protocols. And then I've done 2 more, one here in Los Angeles. And I just had like a day on the film, and again, with very strict protocols, but still somebody managed to test positive on the set, and they shut it down. Mm-hmm. And then went back, 14 days later. So, the industry is being careful.
And rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah. I mean, I wish people at large would be as careful. I see people walking around without masks. The worst culprit to me is people are not paying attention to social distancing. Now, you hear a lot of things out there. There's a lot of information, a lot of misinformation, and a lot of repetitive information. But what part of your job is to learn how to discern the truth from a lie. And, in this last administration, we've been lied to so much, and there's been so much propagandistic hype about what's real and what's fake and what's not and not. But, God gave you free will and gave you a mind to think. And
that's right.
It's up to you to do your part. And we are a community. No man is an island.
That's right.
We are a community. And if we are to survive as a community within the society, if we're going to survive as a society, you got to pay attention.
And you got to come together. And you got to come together.
For what works for, the majority. And right now, the one thing that we do know about the virus, mm-hmm. is that it is airborne, and that for the most part, wearing a mask will protect your neighbor, even if it's not going to prevent you from getting it, but it will, but it will hinder you from spreading it.
That's right.
That in itself is enough to make you want to wear it. That's no lie, and that just is, and we have to accept that. If we want this thing to end sooner than later, then you have to pay attention, follow the rules.
That's right. Not only that, there was on Channel 7 News, on ABC News yesterday, they were talking about there were less instances due to COVID and people paying attention to the part of, washing your hands, wearing a mask, less instances of the regular flu. It's record low for the regular flu, which means that with the regular flu, if people paid attention more, and now they will, because as a result of COVID, washing your hands, being conscious of your neighbor, if you have a cold, to cover up, there's less instances of catching things if we act together as a community. Does that make sense, Keith?
It makes perfect sense, and it really spills into other areas like common courtesy.
Yes.
But really, I mean, it really is the care, love, and respect for your community, for your own individual family, as well as our collective family of friends and neighbors.
Right. As you would say on Bishop Greenleaf, as Bishop James on Greenleaf, love thy neighbor as you love yourself.
Really. And treat him as yours, and treat your neighbor like you would treat yourself. Treat yourself like you would treat your neighbor. With care and respect.
That's right. So let's talk about some of your projects. I didn't know you knew how to fly a plane. Let's talk about Horizon Line. Keith, do you really know how to fly a plane? I want to know.
I absolutely do not.
You do?
But I give good fake. Right?
You don't act on it. I was like, listen, you got to pick the whole crew up at LaGuardia if you knew how. Oh my God. That's so funny.
It was definitely fun. Although, many years ago, I did a movie called Always with Steven Spielberg. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I did get to co-pilot a 4-passenger Cessna.
You're kidding me.
So, I mean, I got to steer it and move it along. I had the pilot right there with me, just in case, but I got to move it up and move it around and go through valleys, and go through clouds. It was very exciting.
Very nice, very nice. It's funny, all these different roles, you have to get people to teach you and train you on different things just to, master that role. Am I right? Makes sense.
As much as that can happen, you do. It doesn't always happen, but right. As much as you can absorb and get used to, get exposed to. I mean, every little bit helps.
So tell my viewers about Horizon Line.
Well, it's a love story, about how two people who do love each other, how ego gets in the way and fear gets in the way, and circumstances force them together, and they have to work together to survive. And you see how surviving together, banding together to survive together, also forges a bond that is inescapable. And if there was love to begin with, well, love wins out in the end.
And in this film, you're flying a plane. You're flying the couple overseas.
I'm flying the couple to a little island, and then something happens. I don't want to give away.
That's right. Don't give away. Don't give away.
And then
you have to watch it. You have to watch it.
You gotta be there. You gotta
be there. You gotta watch it. We're giving people a lot of things to watch during COVID time. People are searching for, my family, what we do. What did you watch now? What are you watching next? So we're gonna give people things to watch. So Greenleaf concluded in 2020. How much fun was it to play Bishop James, and are you attracted to that type of role?
Yes, I am. I used to want to be a minister. So for me, it was a dream come true. I mean, it was really a fulfillment of a very lifelong dream, and for which I will always be deeply grateful to Oprah and to Craig Wright and to Clement Virgo, and especially to my cast, who was, Lynn Whitfield, Merle Dandridge.
Amazing cast and crew. Just amazing.
An amazing group of people to work with. We had a really, really, really wonderful time. And I think it's also great when you have something that can be also entertaining and impactful. And I think we impacted many, many lives because, we told real stories about real people.
That's right. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this brief message.
The National Museum of African American History and Culture. America is a constant work in progress, that each successive generation can look upon our imperfections and decide that it is within our collective power to align this nation with the high ideals of our founding. That's what you'll see inside. You'll see it in the shackles of an enslaved child and in the hope of Harriet Tubman's gospel hymnal. You'll see it in the tragedy of Emmett Till's coffin and the triumph of a Tuskegee airplane. You'll see it in the shadow of Prison Guard Tower and in the defiance of Jesse Owens' cleats and the American pride of Colin Powell's uniform. The story of King, who summoned us all toward the mountaintop.
Welcome back to Queen's Perspectives with the legendary Keith David. Let's go to another project that you're working on or you completed, Black as Night, a film with vampires. Tell my viewers about
Yes,
that
I got
project.
to play. Years ago when I was a kid, I used to want to be the first Black Dracula. Well, William Marshall beat me to that when he played Blackula. But,
Yes, I remember that.
You couldn't get a better choice than William Marshall to play Blackula. Eddie Murphy did that one later on, but I got to play my first my first Dracula. So here I am as a vampire. And
Excellent.
Very much fun.
So you stretch your craft from films about vampires to the serious roles in as a bishop in Greenleaf, to Deputy Chief Spencer in 21 Bridges, to a character in a cartoon, or being part of a video game. Which type of project do you enjoy the most? So if you had an array of projects, which do you gravitate to more? Is it jumping in front of the green screen and acting and being able to do that, or the serious roles? Which?
I like working. That's my game of choice. Yes, that's my genre of choice. Whatever, in whatever genre it is, and that's what makes it fun. You can skip around and do things. Of course, my first love is the theater, and I love being in the theater. I love working in the theater. But films and TV they're another animal, and it's just a different aspect of the work. But I just love to work.
So unfortunately we lost Chadwick Boseman, and you shared the screen with him in 21 Bridges. How was it working with him?
What a wonderful young man. Just a beautiful human being. Beautiful human being. And we say, we lost him too soon, but he left us a very powerful legacy.
He did.
Of wonderful work, and a legacy of a wonderful work ethic, because no one knew what he was going through while he was going through it and still working.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just shows to that there's nothing you can't get through, and there's nothing to stop you but you.
That's right.
There are many people who would have certainly sat on the side and suffered through it. He worked through it. I
agree.
No one, and really, unless you knew, you didn't know. No one really knew what was going on with him, and I will always hold him in the highest of esteem for his work ethic.
I agree. And everyone said the same thing about him as a person and a human being, and the legacy that he leaves behind, and that children, young people can look up to him and say, I can aspire to do that, just like they do with you. So this brings me back to the pandemic. How is the audition process going on now, or when people are running lines and stuff like that? Is that all being done through like Zoom?
A lot, yes. There's some, I've done some voice work, and I've gone to some studios, and it's very different. You come in one door, go out another. You come in masked up. You put your mask in a bag while you're working. If somebody has to come into the booth, you remask up while they come in. But we are being as cautious and safe as possible. We want to get through this alive,
definitely,
and well.
And I know some people are being set up at home where they're have a small crew or staff. Yeah. Or they're recording themselves. They're setting them up to record themselves for certain things, certain voiceovers and stuff like that. So now, before the pandemic, you were touring with 2 shows, Let There Be Love and also the tribute to Joe Williams. Do you miss the concerts?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, there is no experience like being in the theater and being in the same room with the audience, and there's no substitute for that.
I agree.
I will quote my friend Michelle Shea and say, the theater is still the one place that we have to examine what it is to be a human being. And while we are in that examination together, exploring that together, in the same room, breathing the same air, there's no substitute for it. I mean, you can go and have a wonderful experience in a movie theater, but it's not the same as being live in the theater.
Oh, I agree. And I love live music. People thrive from live concerts. I mean, from the day of time. And concerts and musicians bring people together naturally.
Yeah. And that's the other show that I'm working on is Joe Williams. And that was, he says in the show that was one of his purposes in life was, he sang with the Basie Band for 6 years. And and he talks about the Basie Band, part of their purpose was that they brought people together, snapping your fingers, tapping your feet, dancing and having a good time. And that's that was the purpose of the music, to bring people together. You can drop all the agendas, racial agendas dropped when you're listening to good music and grooving with the music. I mean, that happens today when you can go to any rapper's concert and you see an array of humanity displayed.
It's true. It's true.
It's a beautiful thing. I
agree. Last question for today, because we always follow you, Keith. You have over 300 credits to your name. Is there anyone that you have not shared the screen with that you would like to share the screen with or partner on a project, on a new project?
Oh, gee. Any number of people, now, it won't happen now, but, I'd always wished to work with Cicely Tyson.
Oh, I know. Yes.
A big hero and an icon, and she was a hero. I mean, she wrote.
Yes, I agree.
She was just a wonderful example, again, of an incredible work ethic. Just an incredible work ethic. We also lost in the same week Cloris Leachman, whom I have met, and she also had an incredible work ethic. And there are lots of young artists and older, my contemporaries that I would love to work with.
Okay. Thank you, Keith, for joining me here today on Queen's Perspectives. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thanks for inviting me.
Unforgettable. Yes. That's what we are. Unforgettable, though near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me never before has someone been more.